So how did this opportunity come about to be on Celebrity Big Brother?
Well, they called me and asked me if I wanted to do the show, and I said, absolutely, this is amazing. So I'm excited about the opportunity, and I know it's going to be a little weird, but I'm looking forward to it.
And why did you say yes, absolutely?
Well, I love the show. I have done a show like this before. I did Celebrity Apprentice. I was on the second season. And I kind of learned, I think, a little bit from some of my mistakes that I made on that show. Mm-hmm. And I've often sort of said to myself, if I was ever to do, a competition show like this again, a reality show like that again, I would probably do things differently. And I'm looking for, but I just, honestly, it's not so much to do with that. I do find it really interesting. Just the whole concept of being completely off the grid. I'm a person like all of us who's addicted to my cell phone. I'm stuck on that thing. On my comedy tour, I'm always posting to my Instagram and my Twitter and interacting on social media, and it can kind of become overwhelming, and you can constantly be stuck on your phone. And to be away from that for a month, potentially a month, is something that I think is just going to be interesting for me, just sort of on an interesting social experiment, I think. So, and I think I can win too. I do think I can win. So I wouldn't be playing if I wasn't playing to win. As a stand-up comedian, I interact with a lot of people. I am used to living out of a suitcase. I'm used to living out of a suitcase. I'm traveling around the world now on a world tour. I'm literally going, in the last few years, I've performed in every city in the U.S. and Israel and in England, and going on my first Asian tour this year. I'm going to be in Hong Kong, Tokyo, all over the world. So it's, I spend a good part of my year living out of a suitcase, and I'm away from home a lot. I think that mentally prepares me for the challenge of being away from my friends and family on this show and winning Big Brother and winning Big Brother.
And what do you think you learned from Celebrity Apprentice that you will take to the Big Brother house? What to do, what not to do?
Well, I'm known for doing some pretty outrageous comedy. My show on MTV was over the top. Some of my movies are just really crazy and wacky. And I always like to bring that persona. To my shows that I appear on. And that was no exception when I was on the Celebrity Apprentice. I definitely tried to kind of stir up a little bit of controversy with some of the interactions I was having with the other people. I was trying to make it a little crazy, a little wacky, and I don't think that necessarily ingratiated me to the other members of the show. And so, that's always been a character, really. I think, my show on MTV was so crazy. Some of my films are just so over the top. Freddie Got Fingered was just a completely insane movie that I made, and so I think sometimes people may have the impression that that's me, and that's not really who I am. I'm actually a little bit more of a down-to-earth person, I think, and a little bit more normal than you would maybe expect. And so I'm going to try to be myself on this show. And when I was on the Celebrity Apprentice, I was maybe trying to be funny and doing some things that maybe weren't necessarily best for my gameplay. So I think that's going to be my strategy here. I'm going to go in and maybe lay a little low at the top of the game. Maybe try not to try to fly a little under the radar off the top. Get to know some of the other housemates and see how that goes.
And you said you're used to traveling all over the world, but now you're going to be confined to a house with other celebrities. So how do you feel about that?
Well, I'm curious to find out who I might know in there. I've interviewed a lot of people over the years. I've done talk shows, and I've interviewed so many people, and I'm pretty sure I may know some people in there. I don't know who they're going to be, but so I don't know if that might actually not help me. I think sometimes if you know people on Big Brother, it can be a disadvantage because it makes you potentially have an unintentional alliance that people might be a little bit threatened by. So, but living with a bunch of other celebrities, I don't know. I think it's going to be weird. I'm not exactly. I can't say that that's going to be. I like weird stuff. I'm a weird guy. I do like weird stuff, and I think the weirdness of it will be interesting. But it's definitely, I'm also somebody that likes my privacy. I like to be able to, have some alone time, and it's going to be strange being constantly watched. I have a feeling it could be a little bit uncomfortable, but I guess that's what makes the show cool.
Is there any celebrity that you're hoping is in the house, and any celebrity that you're like, crap, if they're in the house, I'm screwed?
There's nobody I'm worried about. I get along with everybody. I mean, I try to be positive, and like I said, I've interviewed a lot of people over the years, and I've gotten good at talking to people, and so I'm not so worried about anyone in particular. And even if there's somebody who's outrageous or who's an instigator, that to me is entertaining. So I'm going to feel like I'm watching Big Brother from inside the show. So I think that'll be really cool. Anybody that I would like in there, again, it's a conflicting thing, because if some of my friends are in there, or people that I know, or people that I've met, that could be detrimental to my game. So I'm just kind of not hoping for anything either way, and I'm just going to go in and go with the flow, and basically, work with what I'm given.
What's your biggest fear going into the house?
Well, I mean, not winning. Not winning is my biggest fear. I mean, obviously I'm aware that it's a big deal to win. It's not easy to win. I mean, there's a lot of smart people in there, and everybody's competing for the same thing, and the odds of winning are probably low, right? But I'm a competitive person. I think the idea of getting voted off could be a little bit, of a bummer, right? It could be a little uncomfortable, and I'm not. I don't really want it. I don't really want that to happen. I'd like to win. So, I'm a little bit I'm a little bit freaked out about the idea of like showering and using the bathroom with cameras. That just seems a little weird to me, understandably. I'm not, but I'm not totally freaked out about that. Some of the contests look fun. I've done a lot of sort of, like I said, my show was pretty over the top. I'm pretty comfortable getting covered in slime, or covered in goo or liquid or water, or getting in strange situations with my comedy. So I'm not really uncomfortable about the competitions. I think those will be fun. I think I'll have an advantage in some of those things.
What about slop? How are you going to handle the food?
Eating slop. Well, that does not look tasty. But again, I mean, it's. I think I can handle it. I can handle the slop. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't be my first choice of meal, but I can handle it.
And, on regular Big Brother, if a celebrity does or says anything, they just go back to their regular lives afterwards. But if you guys do or say anything, you're still a celebrity. So how worried are you about everybody watching you guys 24/7, and anything you do or say, you're a celebrity afterwards?
I built a television studio in my living room a few years ago. I did an independent online talk show from my house, and I think that puts me in a sort of slight position of maybe not necessarily an advantage, but I have experienced a little bit of that. The idea of having cameras in my house. They weren't streaming 24 hours a day. It's a lot different. But, I think I've done a lot of, let me think about my answer for that. I mean, there's no question it's going to be crazy. There's no question this is going to be completely crazy and weird and uncomfortable. And but that's what makes it fun, and I'm down for the challenge.
Love it. And a few stars in season 1 of Celebrity Big Brother thought this was too much and ended up quitting. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that could make you quit?
I don't think so. I don't think there's anything that can make me quit. cut to me in tears in 3 days from now and banging on a door. Get me out of here!
I love that. And also a big thing on Big Brother are showmances. How willing are you to get in a showmance? You know, there's a lot of pretty ladies in that house.
I'm in a very happy relationship. Hi, Jessica. Love you. There's no showmance happening with me. And I also think that that is probably really detrimental to your game. And I'd be curious if that even happened on Celebrity Big Brother. I don't think it's this. I don't think that's going to be something that happens on Celebrity Big Brother. I could be wrong. Won't be with me though.
And did you reach out to anyone from the first season for any advice?
You know, we were told we were allowed to do that, so I spoke to my friend Mark McGrath, and you know, he told me how the experience was, but you know, for the most part, I've just been studying the game, really, just studying the show. I've been watching episodes of the show on CBS.com, and enjoying it, and coming up with my own strategy. So.
And a lot of people use this show or Dancing with the Stars as an opportunity to help further their career, get something out of this. What do you hope to get out of Celebrity Big Brother?
Well, I'm on a world tour right now. I'm doing stand-up comedy full-time. I'm traveling all around the country. I love doing stand-up. I started doing stand-up when I was 16 years old. And I'm 47 now, so I've been doing stand-up over 30 years. About 10 years ago, I really started touring again. I've got incredible fans all around the country, many of who grew up watching MTV, watching my show, and I love going around the country and performing. So this is really kind of a cool thing to sort of expose myself to a new audience of Big Brother's got a great fan base, and I want people to come see me on the road. I love doing stand-up. I like making people laugh. I like performing. So that's really really an exciting thing about Big Brother, is there is such a huge hardcore fan base of Big Brother fans, and a lot of them were watching my show on MTV. You know, I think a lot of people, you know, if people who aren't super fans of mine maybe haven't been paying attention to what I've been doing, it'll be good to be able to reconnect with some people who maybe watched my show on MTV or grew up watching my movies like Road Trip or Charlie's Angels or Freddie Got Fingered. You know, I've got a lot of great fans out there who maybe haven't gotten to see me in a few years, so I'm excited to reconnect with everybody.
And why do you think you have what it takes to win Celebrity Big Brother?
Well, I think you know, I've like I said, I think I have a little bit of an element of surprise. I think people who are in the house may have one expectation of who I am as a person, and really I'm probably the opposite of that. I've spent a lot of time on camera over the years, my web shows, and I'm comfortable doing outrageous and ridiculous things, which Big Brother has a lot of outrageous and ridiculous things. You know, I do think I don't think it's an impossible thing to win. I think I could win this game.
And if you win some money. So what would you do with that prize?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. It's not the motivation though for me to do the show. I mean, it is nice to win. I really want to win. Just I'm a competitive person. I'd like to win because I'm a competitive person, and I'd like to be Celebrity Big Brother champion.